Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Please join my free crypto community. It's free. There's a lot of like-minded people there, a lot of ZBCN holders I want to recruit and have more like-minded people in my community. So join, you got no excuse. Okay guys, in my last video, I explained that Zebec Network are now SOC 2 compliant. So a lot of people were kind of like scared and saying like, Zebec's not a legit project, they're a bunch of scammers. Well, they kind of crushed a lot of the fraudsters by getting SOC 2 compliant. So now they are a legit company and people don't realize how big this actually is. But the thing is, I've been explaining in my other previous videos, if you go check them out, I've been talking about how ISO 20022 is such a big deal, especially for Zebec Network, and how that's the major catalyst that's gonna get us everything. That will get us all the tier 1 exchange listings. That brings us with kind of like the big boys, like with XRP, XLM, HBAR, XDC, to be ARCHAX to get ISO 222 certified. So SOC 2 was the first step. Now they're working towards MiCA compliance, then FCA approval every other month, September, October, and November 2025 is when the ISO 222 standard rolls in for the banks to speak the same digital language and replace the current financial system of sending money cross-border payments. New and improved technology to send money across the world a lot more easier, reducing fees, sending it in less than 3 to 5 business days, and to make sure that money is transferred a lot more easily. ISO 222 is not linked to crypto, but if the institutions like Zebec Network, the company, are ISO 222 compliant, that means they can communicate with the banks. And if they're part of stablecoin payroll, and stablecoins are a big narrative, Zebec being one of the first mover advantages of that narrative, well, guess what? They are in communication with the bank because stablecoins are getting adopted. But anyway, in this clip, Simon explains why they got Gatenox. They bought a compliance firm, Gatenox, to get close to the MiCA compliance, which is Gatenox is a compliance firm. And they've already written their white paper. That's why they're partnered with ARCHAX, who are also partnered with Ripple, XDC, HBAR, ARCHAX, I think XLM as well. Take a look at this first clip.
ISO 2022, the MiCA compliant. There's all kinds of things that I think are really important. Where are we at with all of that?
We are extremely fortunate to have Wojtek now leading our compliance vertical. He's been with us for the past month since we closed our acquisition of Gatenox, the compliance suite, in early June. And Wojtek and our team have been incredibly busy with SOC 2 compliance, which is really the first step in moving towards full ISO certification, which is still our goal towards the end of the year. And SOC 2, for those who do not know, is the gold standard in corporate compliance and privacy, which is very important for a company like Zebec that manages customer data and customer funds. And then on the MiCA topic, given that we do operate now in the UK and Europe, we are in the process of finalizing MiCA compliance with regulators. We have completed our MiCA white paper. It is under review with multiple regulatory bodies, and we are hoping to receive the green light on that at some point this year.
So in this next clip, Wojtek, which is the founder of Gatenox, who is now a financial advisor and compliance advisor for Zebec Network, explains why compliance is such a big thing, especially in the payroll sector, because data protection and consumer protection is, a big thing for financial institutions to invest in the first place. All these big financial institutions have already made life-changing wealth, so they are just concerned about not losing money. So before they are partnered with Zebec, they've got to make sure that they are trusted, and it prevents things like fraud, like FTX crashing and Terra Luna. Take a look at this.
What is not very well understood is that compliance is about the trust with the cryptocurrency and Web3 becoming more and more mainstream, attracting more users and attracting especially institutional investors and institutions. This is becoming quite important for Web3 founders to actually look at the compliance from a perspective of building trust in the community, building trust with the institutions, and minimizing the risk, because compliance at its core is actually about risk management and making sure that the situations like FTX and etc. won't happen.
Again, Simon, the CEO, explains why they bought Gatenox and how it benefits them, because one, it gets them closer to the MiCA compliance. Gatenox being a compliance firm, especially in fintech, and how they're already working with like regulatory regulatory bodies, for example, ARCHAX, which helps them audit them faster because they've already written their MiCA white paper, and they explain how they can white label their own compliance solution to other crypto platforms, i.e. getting closer to the tier 1 exchange listing. Take a look at this.
Simon, I want to bring the conversation back over to you then. Obviously, we're starting to get a picture now of what Gatenox was created for and what it kind of provides. What do you think it unlocks now for the Zebec ecosystem?
Well, the Gatenox acquisition is a big win for the Zebec ecosystem. Of course, at Zebec, we are disrupting the global payroll system, which has largely remained unchanged for the past 50 years. With stablecoin regulation now paving the way for the industry to finally see an acceleration in the adoption of crypto payroll, compliance is becoming front and center. And that's really where Gatenox fits in. So compliance, it has to be embedded within the infrastructure of the payment network for this to really work on a global scale. And many payment networks that rely on outsourced providers for compliance will be at a disadvantage to those who embed compliance tech into their stack. And that is exactly what we're doing now as we integrate the Gatenox acquisition into the Zebec tech stack. For us, integrating Gatenox has allowed us to embed KYC and KYB for all Zebec users and partners directly into our flow. So that means that we have complete ownership over the customer onboarding flow. We have complete ownership over the data, which also ensures security of that data. We lower our costs by bringing in compliance in-house rather than paying outsourced providers. And then as we look down the road, this also gives us the potential to white label our own compliance solution to other crypto platforms, as we view this will be a growth area in the market.
Okay, in this last clip, Wojtek, the founder of Gatenox, explains why they got sucked to. Why did they get them in the first place? Like I said, it's to ensure that data protection, data security, consumer protection is all sorted out. That gives institutions, VCs and banking a lot more confidence in their project. And when they complete their roadmap, they're getting close to the ISO20022 standard. And they have ties in the UK as well and Europe. They've got MiCA, FCA, ISO20022. But I will explain ISO20022. I've explained this in my last few videos in the past because the stable coins are getting adopted in the US. But take a look at this last clip.
The question about SOC 2 and why SOC 2. The answer is fairly simple if you think about this in two aspects. So the ISO brings us to transferring valuable content, which consists of highly detailed digital information. It's not just money, it's also invoice details, tax information, and so on and so forth. So if you think about this as a content, you can think about SOC as a secure container. So SOC addresses security in Zebec systems, in processes and procedures. Thinking about this from a perspective of having the content delivered that has huge value, you want customer data to be secure. And to prove the security, we decided to go with SOC 2 certification, which is a standard for the US market. It's becoming more and more recognizable in Europe as well. That is essentially proving that the Zebec infrastructure, processes and procedures can maintain the customer information in a secure manner.
Thank you guys for watching. I am going to keep trying to grind out ZBCN content and try and inform you guys channels about quality over quantity. Okay, I'm not going to just keep posting crap all the time. I want to learn something. I want you guys to learn something. If you guys aren't learning something, then I'm not doing my job properly. But please support this channel. I really want to keep this ZBCN focused. I am an investor in ZBCN. I do believe in the project, and I'll see you guys in the next one.